Hello, and welcome to our Parallel Paths, a future for my loved one with a disability and for me. I'm your host, Gerry, Dr. Geraldine Arango, and this podcast is about just what the title says, the parallel paths of family members, certainly parents, sometimes siblings as parents age or pass on, and their loved ones with intellectual disabilities. I'm a parent myself, and I always have questions. Our Parallel Paths is a podcast about creating a promising future for our adult family members with an intellectual disability and a promising future for ourselves as that role of family member evolves alongside them. There's more than one path, there's more than one future to talk about, and that's why we're here. Some remarkable people share their stories on our Parallel Paths, and I really hope that the stories and the wisdom resonate with you and give you ideas and hope for your path. I am delighted to introduce today's guest, Teri Brewer. Teri and I have the same supports broker, Bradley Beck, who you may remember from our episode on managing support staff back in season 2. Bradley shared with me when I asked him that Teri's is a story that we'd need to hear as someone who's supporting her son, Wiliam, to live his vision of an everyday meaningful life. I often see Wiliam's work. He paints. I see them on Facebook in his William's World page. And I've been to presentations by Teri on topics like the life course tools, which I think might be a really neat topic for another podcast episode. And I know that Wiliam and Teri are both active in an organization called SAU1, Self-Advocates United as One. And I think I want to learn more about that because I might share more about that with Nick. So welcome, Teri.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. First of all, what did I leave out? How would you describe yourself to those of us who don't know you real well beyond my description?
I'm just a parent trying to do my best to make sure that when I leave this earth, my son has the best life possible, and that I've done what I can do to set that up.
Okay.
That's just my hope.
I hear you. And ditto. Are you currently working outside the home?
I work for SAU1, Self-Advocacy United S1. I am one of the Southeast coordinators. So that is from home. We do trainings outside, but most of my work is at home, which is very beneficial.
Okay.
And Wiliam is a power coach for Self-Advocates United S1. So he does trainings, and he actually does more traveling than I do. So.
Okay. Well, that's cool. What a nice opportunity for Wiliam to just get out there and spread the word as a person who is living the story,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I always offer my guests, listeners, a choice of questions or things to reflect on before we talk. And Teri chose the topic, a day in the life. And so I know I'd like to learn more about Wiliam's story because, a day in his life. And I'm also kind of curious about the path that Wiliam and Teri navigate together, even when they're not physically together. Because, you know what, I think that day in the life topic is like a day in the life of Wiliam, a day in the life of Teri, and a day in the life of Wiliam and Teri. And so how did you guys get to where you are now? And how do you, Teri, stay strong as you're supporting your son and yourself on the parallel path?
Well, I think for one thing, I have a very good support system with my husband. So we, just process and do everything together. During the early stages, when you bring a little baby home, he's so cute and looked perfect to me, but we noticed that he was not doing, making the milestones that children are supposed to make. So we took him to his pediatrician and we were referred to supposedly a well-known pediatric neurologist at the time. And after some tests, they told us, and mind you, William was, I'm going to say, 8 months at a time, 8, 9 months. And we were told that William would never walk or talk. What we saw is what we got, and to put him in an institution because he was going to interfere with our then 3-year-old daughter.
Ooh, may I ask, how old is
There.
William?
He was about I'm going to say 9 months old. He was 9 months old
And how
when
old
we
is
were.
and how old is he now?
William is 39.
See, wow. I mean, whenever I have taught, done trainings, we talk about that history and that answer that people would get. And
Mm-hmm.
kind of wanted to believe that that was something from a long time ago, something so long ago that they would not say, hey,
No,
institutionalize him, just tell your family, and he's 39.
no.
And so that's remains the worst. And it's
So
way too recent.
that was yeah, that was very devastating. I call that the summer of tears because it was about July. And while we didn't know what we were going to do, we knew we weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
So we just took it one day at a time and just tried to model his behavior, model for him what he should be doing. That's what we were told we should do. We were crawling around on the floor and, showing him how to crawl. And our daughter, Kristen, at the time was a tremendous help. She didn't realize how much she was helping, but she was tremendous help. And we finally were able to get him into an approved daycare because I put him in a regular daycare because I figured, I don't know what I thought, but it was a mistake.
Okay.
So we got him into Ken Crest, and from there, United Cerebral Palsy, and he's just, taking steps on his own. He never crawled. He rolled from place to place, and then one day he just got up and walked. So the one thing that we have noticed is that William, we feel like he analyzes what needs to be done, and whether he's practicing or doing something on his own, I have no idea. But I do know that he ends up doing things. So from there, he went to an approved private school, and his entire life, I really, at the time, I didn't know about, integrated classrooms or anything. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. So I did basically everything we were told would work best, except for institutionalizing him. And he thrived. He went there his entire, until he was 21. And his first, I would say, act of advocacy was an approved private school. You can stay in the same classroom for a few years until the teacher decides that you need to move on to the next. He went back one September and moved himself to another classroom.
Wait, what?
He moved himself he evidently knew which was the next classroom up, and that's where he went.
Okay.
And I got a call and they said, William moved himself. I said, what do you mean he moved himself? Because at that time I was very comfortable with the teacher. I knew everything. So it's like, okay, well, let's see. So he thrived. He graduated from there, and we didn't want him to go there 5 days a week. So we found another program which was more so out in the community. So he went to this one program 2 days a week, and he went to his main program 3 days a week. And we thought that that was working fine. And then we were told about an art program. So William decided that he wanted to do that. So it's always been it's been evolving. I can't say that I always tell people we kind of fell into a lot of stuff. William wanted to do it, so we just gave it a try. And that art program closed. So this was when we started with self-direction and had a wonderful young lady who was an art student. She was getting ready to graduate. She had absolutely no idea. She never worked with anyone with a disability, which I thought was a plus because she didn't have preconceived notions. And
it really can be.
Yes, and she said, I just want to see if he can paint. I said, all right. And she brought all of her supplies, and she came downstairs with a painting of a pincushion and a thimble, which was very recognizable. I said, yeah, you did that. And she said, no, that was William. Oh. And that's how we knew that he could do this.
Okay.
And we started from there, and it just evolved to the point of now he goes to no day program whatsoever, and he self-directs 5 days a week. And he chooses what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, where he wants to go. He's participated in different art shows. He's been published in a book. He received a grant. This was through another of his support workers, and I have been so very blessed and fortunate that the staff that has come into his life have all been free thinkers and willing to just try different things. And I know that I'm very fortunate in that. And that's William. That's William, to the point that this August was the first time that my husband and I ever went away alone without any children.
Oh,
and we've been married for 44 years.
That's huge.
And we never did it. And we were able to take a cruise because of the support staff, because of everyone stepping up and just wanting us to be able to have that opportunity, and feeling that William was ready and able to do it, to the point that he flew down to Texas to see one of his a young lady that used to work with him, Erin.
I know that.
She moved to Texas, and he flew down there for a few days.
Okay.
By himself.
By himself. Okay.
By himself.
Wow.
So it's been an evolution. It really has. The more he's shown us, the more confident, we are with his ability and what he is able to do. And the next big thing is him having his own place. Okay. So it's been a real journey.
It sounds like it. It sounds like, you've sometimes when you speak to people, they've kind of gotten schooled in all of this stuff before it was happening or right away. But it sounds like, you guys kind of really were following William and learning with and for him right all along the way. You were kind of, I don't know. His story was, your story is so informed by his trajectory, and you're learning alongside him. And it sounds like you felt like you had a lot of trust in the systems and the people who were working with him all along the way. Is that so?
We were very fortunate
Okay.
in everybody didn't work out. I'm not
No.
gonna I'm
All
not
right. No,
gonna
no, that's okay.
say that. But when we felt like there were glitches along the way or something just wasn't working out, we took William's lead, because while he is not going to necessarily sit down and say, hey, mom, such and such isn't working out and I feel like we need to change, he would let us know that he's not comfortable with certain things. There was one program that he was going to, and I just knew he loved it. I couldn't stand it, but he wanted to go. So we went, he went, and I just kept my mouth shut. But after the pandemic and everything started opening back up and he was able to go back, I put on a piece of paper the days, Monday through Friday, what he wanted to do, and he could put down where he wanted to go, and that was not an option.
Okay.
He didn't write it down.
Okay.
So everything has really been informed by him, and it was never really, I can't say that we sat down and it was like a well thought out plan or anything. It was just, oh no, well, he doesn't want to do it, so okay. We just basically followed what he wanted, because we're not going to be around forever. And in most cases, he's going to, the child outlives the parent.
Yeah.
And we always had that in our mind, that he's going to be here without us.
Yeah.
And if I could orchestrate things from the grave, but I don't think that's possible.
And coming up from the grave. Yeah, I feel that, especially as a person who, like Nick, has lost his father 9 years ago. But that's what I think has been a theme of this podcast, is people sort of saying, what, I'm not going to be here forever, and here's what I think about. So you're another precinct heard from on that. And so I wonder, are there things that you kind of wish you had known before you started on this journey with Wiliam? Are there things that I think would have made it more doable? I mean, it sounds like I'm feeling like it was a pretty good journey so far, but are there things you wish you did know that you think might have helped?
In the very beginning, when after the disaster with the neurologist and we went back to the pediatrician, we were told he needs early intervention. I didn't know what early intervention was.
Okay.
I had no clue. I knew absolutely nothing, and
they just dropped the term on you, and that was it.
I hope that is better now for parents, but we were told that and sent along our merry way.
So they just dropped the
guidance,
intervention, and no connecting to anybody?
No, we were not connected to anyone. No one. No. So what I started doing was, and I will date myself, the blue pages of the phone book.
Yeah, because you can't Google that.
And I just, yeah, we can Google now, but I had the blue pages of the phone book, and I just started calling, and I would, just call back and forth, and some people, I had no idea. And the one call that I did make was the governor's line at the time to special education or something, and they put me in touch with, that's how I initially got hooked up with Ken Kress, and I kept making different calls, and I guess in one of those calls I must have put his name on a waiting list, because they told me, oh, his name is on this waiting list and there's an opening next month.
Wow. Wow.
But I hope that it's better now, that there's more information. I really could have used a lot of more information, and just being connected with another parent.
Okay.
Because when you're told that your child, and at the time William really was not doing anything.
Okay.
But when you're told that your child isn't going to be able to do anything, and you have nowhere to go, you have no one to talk to. I had no one to talk to. It seems like there's more information now, which I think is great, but I didn't have that information. If there was anything that I could change, is just having more information. Maybe there would have been other projects or programs that we could have, had him try out. Maybe he wouldn't have been in his 30s and we learned that he liked art. Wow. We had no idea he could paint. None whatsoever. He sews, he makes quilts.
Wow.
We had no idea. We knew that he liked to take pictures. We knew that he liked videotaping. We knew all of this, but there's other things we didn't know because we didn't have a way to explore it. And we didn't have anybody to talk to when he was younger. We just didn't.
And Teri, how was like the transition time? Do you feel like you had enough information when they started having the IEP transition pages added in? How was that?
I will say, and this is George Carruthers School, those teachers then were very supportive, and they helped us through the IEPs, making sure that he had they told me that he needed to register, with the Office of Developmental Programs about the waiver. They didn't have a whole lot of information, but at least they were able to point me in different directions for what I needed to pursue. So that's, that's what we did. All I needed was somebody to tell me to go in a certain direction because I had no clue. Mm-hmm. So I did find that helpful, and it's very fortunate that the year he graduated, there was a big waiting list campaign initiative.
Okay.
Very big.
All
and
right.
He graduated in June and he got the waiver in August.
Okay.
And I know that is not, just doesn't happen for everyone like that.
No, it does not. No, it doesn't.
But this was a big initiative. And that's how he benefited. Yeah.
Okay. So then now how did you fare in all these places where things worked and where they didn't work? What kept you strong? And everybody's strong all the time.
I think one of the things is, and maybe not, since I didn't have any information, I didn't know what was supposed to work and what wasn't supposed to work. It was like the only expectation I had was what I wanted for Wiliam. And I didn't have I had people who didn't understand, because, nobody understands what you're going through. The crying and the worrying. And I mean, at one point when Wiliam was younger, he had no sense of fear. And I have been out on the roof pulling him back in the house because I don't know, he wanted to go out there. So to say it was easy, and I honestly think that it was basically my support system between my husband, my daughter, and my mother.
Okay.
They really kept me focused on, not giving up, and also sometimes you just need to cry, and you don't necessarily need somebody saying, "Oh, it's going to be all right." Sometimes you just need to have a little pity party.
Yes.
And not feel guilty that you have it.
Yeah. Because sometimes
you can't stay in it.
Yeah.
And I had people in my life who let me do that.
Okay.
And I think that was one of the strongest, the strongest things, because you can't be strong all the time, and you do cry, and you do, but you don't want to hear those nice, shiny words, and, when you want to be miserable, just let me be miserable, let me cry. I'll get over it, but I'm not going to get over it if you keep trying to talk me out of it.
Yeah. Just be with me.
Let me feel what I'm feeling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have to, and that's such a gift. When I find, or I want to be the person who can sort of be with that person where they are right now, because it's like, I can't fix it, but I'm here for you. That's such, when I find that person, I'm never going to let them go. And I, try anyway to try to be that person. You really want to fix it for everybody, but you can't. And so sometimes, allowing a friend, a family member to just be sad, it's huge. And it sounds like that was really meaningful to you. Okay.
And another thing too is the fact that I think that there's a certain stage where, when your child is growing up, they do cute things, or they learn new things, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, wow, but you get over that because they get older. I never got over it with William. When he does something, oh my goodness, I can't, oh, all right, oh, he flew on a plane by himself, oh, he did okay, oh. I still have those moments of, wow. That keeps me, that keeps me going. That never went away. When he got, it's like, wow. So therefore I can see the potential, and I can see the growth, and I can see that, he can do it. He'll be able to do it.
All right. And to have those little celebrations all across a person's life. We celebrate our children's victories and cry with them in their moments, but I get it that those moments of, wow, I had no idea you could do that, are to embrace that and really notice it, and really kind of realize that that's happening. That can sustain and keep you going. What else? Other things keep you going, Teri? What else? What do you do for you?
I think my faith keeps me going. Just living in the moment. As I get older, I find that, one, I want to take the road of least aggravation, and I try to do that as often as possible. I try not to fluster myself, and I try and make things as easy and convenient as possible for me.
Okay.
Because
take care of you.
If I don't feel like doing something, I don't do it. And that's not always, I think, younger I might have been more of a people pleaser
Mm-hmm.
and trying to live up to expectations of this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do. Now I just don't care. I
Okay.
do
So freeing, right?
what's best. I do what's best for me and my family.
Okay. Okay. And it's freeing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it most certainly is.
Yeah.
It most certainly is.
And I think it can open you up to the fact that, everybody doesn't have to love everything you do, and it's still okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In surprising ways.
Absolutely.
Surprising ways. So you were saying that you are involved heavily in SAU One, Self Advocates United as One. What do you do
Yes.
in that organization? And you and
Well,
tell me more about that. Yeah, if you would.
we do. We have different. We work on different grants. Particularly now, one of the grants that I'm assisting with is a housing myth busting for people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the early stages. We're developing a a PowerPoint. We will be going and educating people with disabilities. We're working with a fabulous group. Can I say the group's name?
Sure.
Huh?
Yeah.
Families Can. They're a wonderful organization,
Yeah. CCAN.
and we yes,
Yeah.
and we are working with them. So that's one thing that's exciting. We've been talking to just people with disabilities and what is their idea of housing, and can they get it, and what do they think, and we're interviewing people who are living on their own, and what they're doing is some of the myths that they're busting. So that's very exciting. I also, in my role, we have people who use devices
Mm-hmm.
to do the presentations. So I make sure that the information is translated in such a form that they can put it in their device and they can do the presentation. So we're all about making sure that self-advocates are seen, that they're heard, their opinions are valued, their point of view is forefront in everything that SAU One does, and that's why we do what we do. We're a statewide organization
Okay.
all over Pennsylvania. We do trainings all over Pennsylvania. We have wonderful self-advocates who do the trainings. There are facilitators there, but it is the self-advocate who does the training. We have virtual training.
Okay.
We're online. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. So it's all about supporting the mission of, self-advocacy and individuals doing their best and being their best and speaking up.
All right. I really will have to share this with my Nick. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. So now tell me what's next for your self-advocate, for yourself, for you, your William, for your family. What's next? What are you working on? What are you guys working on?
Well, the big thing is housing.
Okay.
William wants to move. He's been wanting to move. He wants an apartment. He's been sending me, even though he's right down the hall, he will text message me just to remind me that he wants an apartment. So we are really trying to figure that out. How does he afford it? It's a lot that goes into it.
Yes.
The different supports that he needs. I do believe that he most certainly can do it. I think that the obstacle right now can be affordability,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
So that's kind of what we're focused on now, is trying to make he wants to move out,
Okay.
and we want it to happen for him.
Want it to happen, of
And
course.
we want it to happen for him before it becomes an emergency situation.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
what we want. We want him to be settled because, like I said, um, in all likelihood, your child outlives you.
Hmm.
And I don't want, I just want him to be settled when, the next stage of both our lives come.
I hear you. I hear you. That's what we were working on as well, and I think that so many families are, because we all realize that the natural order of things is that, the folks go first. And so,
Hmm.
we want to have our loved ones in a good place. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Hmm.
But you're on it. And it feels like you've always kind of followed Wiliam. And as he's sharing that with you, you're, kind of working on it with him. And so I feel like
Hmm.
it's going to take time, but it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen, frankly.
I believe so. And people look at the Wiliam now as opposed to when he was younger. I I never saw it.
Hmm.
I didn't know I didn't know what his future looked like, but I didn't know. I didn't see it. I had no clue of the young man that he is now. I just didn't see it.
But you
You
sound
know,
so proud of
I
him.
because mom always wants to, you know, protect and make
Uh-huh.
sure, and him not get hurt or whatever. So, he has to take chances. Our daughter, has taken chances and she lived her life, and that's what he needs to do too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's the that dignity of risk, and saying, you know what, you have to try. And if you fail, certainly I know I've failed, and I've failed, in my opinion, on some stuff with my children, both of them.
Hmm.
That's life, and
Exactly.
yeah. And so maybe we have to be kind to ourselves and say, you know what, we may go down that road a bit and then turn back. And
Hmm.
you learn something from it and you keep going. But that is the whole thing. You have to give people the ability to give it a shot. And it's scary.
Yeah. Lord knows I've made some mistakes being young and growing up. So why can't he?
Why can't he? Okay. Teri, is there anything else that you'd like to share, that I haven't asked you about?
No, I think we had a good conversation.
Okay.
I think I've told you more than I've told a lot of people. So.
Oh, well, you've told us and the whole audience, it's been wonderful to talk to you. And I'm really glad
Mhm.
that you made time to talk with me today and to share your story and Williams, and to give some thoughts and wisdom for the journey. And just to know that, like, there's all these different ways that we do this, but where our outcomes, we hope, are the same, that we want our loved ones to have a vision of their lives, and that we can help them. And then when we're gone, that it keeps going. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you for having me.
it's been a joy. And so I guess we'll end it here. And I'm going to thank you, my listeners, for spending time with us today and Teri Brewer, on today's our parallel paths. And so I hope that you will like and follow our podcast, share it with your family and friends, and I really hope that you'll return to listen and learn from more stories of people like you and me and our loved one with a disability on our parallel paths. You're not alone. We're all in this together in our ways. And I hope that this and all our episodes help you to feel that you're not alone. I'll see you next time.